It's LeBron versus Steph like never before. That's tomorrow night. And let's talk about that and more with the brand new Hall of Famer, Chris Bosh, who joins us live on Get Up. Chris, we are all so happy for you. Congratulations. Before we get to the playoffs, take me to that moment. The moment someone says the words to you, you are going to the Hall of Fame. What is the first emotion? How would you describe it?
Man, very euphoric. I mean, but one of the things that was interesting that I found, I was thinking about being a kid and having those summer days with my friends and it just starting on a playground and connecting and making friends and those bus rides, you know, that we went to the tournament and those, you know, disappointing rides back home sometimes and just having such a great time and making so many great friends, being able to travel the world, you know. Those are all the things that I thought about. You know, basketball has given me everything. And just to be in this position, to be mentioned amongst some of the best players, I mean, that's all I ever wanted and dreamed about when I grew up. So to go from there to here, it's been truly remarkable. It's a great feeling.
Congratulations. It's extraordinarily well-deserved. Obviously, you played a bunch of years with LeBron in Miami. Take me to his mindset. He's got the ankle, and people keep telling me this is something that is probably going to bother him to some degree, however far they go in these playoffs. Take me to your expectation for him and how he handles that.
Well, I mean, look for him to change his game. You definitely don't want your best player to have a nagging injury. I think they tried to be very careful in the last couple of weeks, really the last month of the season, but for him to get it, you know, to have a nagging situation to where he's re-aggravated it again, that's definitely something to be concerned about. But with that said, look for him to be more of a facilitator. Look for him to be get his teammates involved a lot more, and look for him to just kind of pick and choose his spots to where he can be aggressive. But you know, with that said, you know, you want LeBron James, I guess, out of everyone having that problem because he does a tremendous job going around the clock with his treatment schedule. So we'll see how it goes. But, you know, in this situation, especially with a one-off situation, you've got to be a little concerned.
Well, there's also a uniqueness in the mindset here. And you've played Game 7s with him, which is sort of what this is. I'll give Chris Bosh a minute there to get his earpiece back in. As we'll see if he can hear me. There we go. No problem. So you've played Game 7s with him. That's kind of what this is. It's like a little one-game play-in scenario. What can you tell me about his mindset going into a one-game do-or-die situation?
Well, I mean, it's going to be the ultimate competitive game, especially when you have someone like Steph Curry. I mean, the way that he's been playing in the last month of the season has been very reminiscent of 06 Kobe. So being in that Game 7 type of situation, look for them to be very intense, but look for the Lakers to really get it done on defense. That's what's going to be very important to them. They're not going to be able to win the game if Steph Curry scores 35, 40 points. They're going to have to hold him to or just below their average, get it done with their defense, and hopefully get out of there with a close win. But it will be very competitive, and I think it will come down to the wire.
Well, so let's talk about Steph for a minute here. I mean, that's quite a comparison that you're making, but he's been as good as he's ever been at the age of 33. How does he do it when everyone knows he's their offense? They're doing everything they can to stop him, and they can't. How does he do it?
That's a great question. I think that's something only Steph Curry knows. I mean, his shooting is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he's a master of his craft. Not only that, he's very unselfish. He gets his teammates involved. You can tell that guys love playing with him. And, I mean, he's just one of those guys that's always dangerous. And he has a high IQ guy like Draymond Green always on the hunt to get him the ball, because when he's at his best, coming off those pin downs, coming off those high screens, putting your defense in very complicated situations and tough situations for the entire possession, you know, he can wear a defense down. So, you know, the Lakers are going to have to know where he is on the court at all times, but, you know, look for Steph to be very aggressive and look for him to have a big game.
That's tomorrow night, Lakers and Warriors. While I have you, let me ask you a few other quick ones around the playoffs. You, of course, I know a huge piece of your heart is still on Miami Heat. I've got a lot of people telling me they're going to beat Milwaukee. They're going to knock Giannis out in the first round. What do you expect?
Well, I will say look for this series to go 7 games. It's going to be extremely competitive. The Heat definitely have a lot of confidence coming into this series, especially with the success they've had against the Bucks last year and this year too. They've done a great job in holding Giannis under his average and making it tough on him. And, you know, just part of the Heat culture, they're going to be competitive. They're going to come to win. They're going to play extremely hard. And with the Bucks, I mean, they're in a situation again. Here we are for the third, fourth year in a row. You know, they're going to have to prove that they're champions. And sometimes you're going to have to see those same situations. You're going to be against the, you know, same teams that you know, usually struggle against. And you're going to have to overcome those challenges. So it's starting right now for the Bucks. They're going to have to really overcome a huge challenge early on, and we'll see what happens. But look for that series to go 7 games. Look for every game probably to come down to the last possession.
I love it. And then there's tonight. We got Celtics Wizards in the Eastern Conference play-in, and Boston, which has really been struggling, all of a sudden gets a red-hot Russell Westbrook, who has just turned it on. What are your thoughts on that game tonight with what we're seeing from Washington?
I mean, when you have Russell Westbrook, you're always in any game. You match him with Bradley Beal, the ability to get 30, 35 points a game. That's pretty tough. And especially in today's league with those two guys handling the ball in the backcourt, you know, you're going to be in any game, especially like we keep saying in this Game 7 play-in type of situation. The Boston Celtics are struggling right now. They can, you know, probably have a little bit of a letdown. Look for that a little bit because one of their best players, Jaylen Brown, is hurt. And I really don't see how they're going to get out of this one alive. But with that said, I mean, it's going to be a very competitive game. They have guys that want to win. Look for them to step up, but I just don't see them overcoming the challenges that the Wizards are going to present.
And then one more question for you, Chris, and this one just jumped into my head, so my producer, Allie, is going to yell at me because I didn't tell her I was going to ask you this. But you know what it's like to face all of the expectations when you and Dwayne and LeBron got together in Miami and the whole world is gunning for you and focused on you. The Brooklyn Nets are going into that situation here, and they've done it with no time together. Harden and Durant and Kyrie have barely played together. What do you think that's going to be like for them, and what do you expect from them?
It's going to be tough. They're learning on the fly, but one of the things they can make up for with that is their talent. Now, with that said, they do have to gel together as a team very quickly. I myself haven't even gotten to see them play together recently. So it's definitely going to be a huge challenge for them to gel together as a team, to figure out what they're going to run in the late game situations, how they're going to communicate on defense. There are a tremendous number of challenges that's going to, present itself with those guys. But Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Blake Griffin, I mean, that's a lot of talent. You're going to have to beat those guys, and we'll see what happens. But it's going to be fascinating. I think we'll all be watching.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, Chris, again, we are all so happy for you. Congratulations on getting ready to take your well-deserved spot in Springfield as a Hall of Famer, and we'll see you down the road. Thanks for getting up with us today.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
All right, that's the great Chris Bosh.